Breathing Secrets for Lung Recovery, according to WHO and US Medical Standards for Resilient Respiration. Hello friends. We want to emphasize that breath is the thread that maintains life. But silent hiccups in the respiratory system are often ignored by us until it is too late. A shortness of breath when climbing stairs or a transient feeling of chest heaviness is not simply a sign of age, but a costly warning about the decline of alveolar function. If not properly intervened with precise medical techniques, these injuries will lead to chronic respiratory failure, eroding your strength and depriving you of your freedom. However, from a scientific perspective, mastering the correct breathing exercises can reverse the situation, helping to optimize lung capacity and regenerate energy for every cell. In this video, we will deeply analyze breathing techniques according to the instructions of the World Health Organization and US experts, helping you master your breath. Before going into the details, we invite you to register and turn on notifications for the MMM channel with the YouTube handle at MMMYouTube1 to accompany us on the journey of healthcare throughout the human life cycle. And now, we begin the main content. The human respiratory system is a sophisticated, but also extremely sensitive machine to the effects of the environment and aging. To protect the lungs, we cannot just rely on medicine but must clearly understand the operating mechanism of the respiratory muscles, especially the coordination between the diaphragm and the intercostal muscles. Breathing practice is not simply inhaling and exhaling, but a systematic therapeutic process aimed at increasing negative pressure in the chest, helping collapsed alveoli to expand maximally and pushing clean residual air out. To clearly understand how to protect the lungs, we need to go deep into each specific breathing method. One is the belly breathing technique, or also called diaphragmatic breathing. This is a breathing method in which the diaphragm plays the leading role. In terms of mechanism, when we inhale, the diaphragm will lower towards the abdominal cavity, expanding the chest cavity, vertically creating an enormous negative pressure that helps air go deep into the bottom of the lungs where there is the densest density of alveoli and capillaries. The World Health Organization emphasizes that belly breathing helps increase alveolar ventilation efficiency by up to 30% compared to conventional chest breathing. To practice this method, you should lie on your back on a flat surface or sit straight on a chair in the most comfortable position. Place one of your hands on your chest to control movement. Your other hand is placed on the abdominal area, just below the sternum. You start inhaling very slowly through your nose, trying to direct the airflow deep so that the hand on the belly feels your belly bulging significantly, while the hand on the chest still remains in place, not moving. After that, you hold your breath for 1 to 2 seconds and then start exhaling slowly through your mouth, feeling the belly flatten as deeply as possible with the support of the abdominal muscles. Maintaining this exercise for 10 to 15 minutes every day, performed regularly twice in the morning and evening, will help reduce breathing frequency, lower the burden on the heart, and keep the lungs always in the most ventilated state. 2 is the pursed lip breathing method, a controlled exhalation technique that helps maintain positive pressure in the airways. In chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases, the bronchioles often tend to collapse early during the exhalation phase, causing air to be trapped inside, leading to lung hyperinflation. The pursed lip breathing technique creates a slight resistance at the mouth, helping to keep these small airways open longer, thereby expelling waste gases more effectively. Clinical studies in the United States have proven that people practicing pursed lip breathing have more stable blood oxygen levels during physical exertion. To perform correctly, you should sit straight or stand in a relaxed shoulder position. First, you inhale slowly through your nose for about 2 seconds according to the count of 1, 2. Then, you lightly purse your lips, as if in a whistling position or preparing to blow a candle. You exhale very slowly through those pursed lips with a time twice as long as the inhalation, which means counting from 1 to 4. An important note is that you must not try to hold your breath or strain yourself excessively, but must let the exhaled breath flow in the most natural and rhythmic way. 3 is the controlled deep breathing technique aimed at maximizing the vital capacity of the lungs and cleaning residual air. Anatomically, the lungs have a very large expansion capacity, but a sedentary lifestyle often makes us use only about 40% of the actual capacity. Deep breathing helps mobilize the forgotten lung areas in the upper and lower lobes, enhancing the elasticity of the lung parenchyma. At major hospitals in the US, this is a mandatory exercise to prevent atelectasis complications after surgery. Detailed instructions are as follows. You stand straight or sit firmly, 2 shoulders completely relaxed. You inhale very slowly through your nose, feeling the entire chest and abdomen expand in all 3 dimensions, as if you are trying to fill a large balloon in your chest with air. When the lungs are full, you should hold your breath for 3 seconds so that oxygen has time to fully diffuse into the blood. Finally, you exhale very slowly and completely all the air through your mouth until you feel the chest cavity completely flattened. Each practice session, you should perform from 10 to 15 such cycles. This repetition will help improve the flexibility of the rib cage and increase the biological reserve capacity for the lungs. 4 is the 4-phase rhythmic breathing method, which helps regulate the nervous system and optimize the biological rhythm of the lungs. This technique divides the breathing cycle into 4 phases of equal time, creating an absolute balance between the energy loading process and the toxin elimination process. Biomedical science in the United States has shown that rhythmic breathing helps stabilize blood pressure and reduces the concentration of the stress hormone cortisol in the blood. The specific practice is that you inhale through your nose in for slow counts. After that, you hold the breath in your lungs for the next 4 counts. The third phase is exhaling gently through your mouth, also in 4 counts. Finally, and this is the step that many people often overlook, which is that you must rest completely for 4 counts before starting a new inhalation cycle. Resting after exhaling helps the respiratory muscles to fully recover and helps the respiratory center in the brain readjust the sensitivity threshold to carbon dioxide. You should perform from 5 to 10 continuous cycles to feel the stillness and ventilation of the entire respiratory system. 5 is the alternate nostril breathing technique, which helps balance the airflow and stimulate both sides of the lungs equally. The human body tends to breathe unevenly between the 2 nostrils due to the physiological nasal cycle, which sometimes unbalances the air pressure in the lung segments. The alternate breathing method helps readjust this deviation, increasing focus and cleaning the sinus cavities. To start, you sit straight. Use the thumb of your right hand to gently close the right nostril. Then inhale very slowly and deeply through the left nostril. When fully inhaled, you use the ring finger to close the left nostril, simultaneously opening the right nostril to exhale all the air. Next, you inhale again through that same right nostril, then close the right nostril and exhale through the left nostril. This process forms a closed loop. Medical experts recommend performing 5 to 10 rounds per day to help the lungs be ventilated evenly, supporting the immune system of the nose and throat area to work better against allergens. 6 is the combination of movement breathing and relaxation breathing techniques to increase overall respiratory endurance. In daily activities, we often get out of breath because we do not know how to coordinate the breathing rhythm with muscle movements. The movement breathing method requires you to inhale when performing chesty expanding movements such as raising your arms high or stepping upstairs, and exhale when performing chest contracting movements or lowering your arms. This helps utilize the mechanical thrust of bones and muscles to support the lungs. Side by side with that, you need to practice relaxation breathing by lying or sitting comfortably, closing your eyes and only focusing on the sensation of air going out and in most naturally through the nostrils. This combination helps the body learn how to use oxygen most efficiently even when working or when resting, minimizing chronic fatigue caused by tissue oxygen deficiency. 7 is the airway clearing breathing technique and the habit of conscious slow breathing to maintain long-term lung health. For those living in polluted environments or with a history of respiratory infections, mucus often stagnates deep in the small bronchi, hindering gas exchange. The clearing breathing technique requires you to inhale deeply through your nose, then open your mouth wide, throat relaxed, and exhale strongly in a decisive breath like the way we fog up a mirror or a piece of glass with warm breath. This strong airflow will create a vibrating pressure that helps peel off the mucus and push them up to the larger airways to be easily expelled by light hawking. Finally, the most important thing is that you must practice the habit of conscious slow breathing by prioritizing breathing through the nose in all activities, avoiding the situation of rapid breathing through the mouth, which dries the lung mucosa and easily leads to bacterial infection. The World Health Organization confirms that maintaining these scientific breathing habits is the strongest shield to protect us from the burden of non-communicable diseases in the future. Finally, we want to affirm that respiratory capacity is not a constant but a skill that can be improved through understanding and persistent practice. Every shallow breath that you ignore today can become a burden for the lungs in the future, but every minute of breathing practice, according to medical standards, is a step closer to full recovery. Leading health organizations in the world have proven that conscious breathing is the key to opening new vitality for the body and intellect. If you find this content brings practical value, please register and turn on notifications for the MMM channel with the handle at mmm.youtube in English, and the LQT channel with the handle at LQT YouTube in Vietnamese. On these 2 platforms, We will continue to provide in-depth solutions to protect the internal organ systems and prevent dangerous chronic diseases. Taking care of the lungs is taking care of the roots of life. Please act starting today. Thank you for your interest and following.